So I just got back from church where I think the pastor delivered one of the best sermons that I have ever been to, and one that I think I really needed to hear personally, and that's what I want to share with you today. Is this sermon, is this verse, and I guess a bit of the takeaways that I kind of got from it that really changed my perspective and my outlook on life, especially as an entrepreneur. You know, we live in the world where it's always more, right? More. And what I realized myself is every time I kept thinking I needed more, I needed more revenue, I needed a newer car, I needed a better hat, I needed a nicer monitor, a nicer computer, I still felt empty. I was left thinking that would solve my problems. Oh, once I buy this new car, I'll be happy. Once I get this new apartment, I'll be happy. Once I this, then I'll be happy. And then I kept getting those things and asked myself, when is it enough? Right? When does it end? When will I be satisfied? And what I realized is that you could have all the material possessions, you could have everything you could ever ask for in this life, and you'll still be left unfulfilled. As a matter of fact, there's this quote here from Tom Brady. Why do I have 3 Super Bowl rings and still think there's something greater out there for me? I mean, maybe a lot of people would say, hey man, this is what it is. I reached my goal, my dream, my life. I think there's got to be more than this. And he's absolutely right. There is more to life than all the things that we constantly seek. As a society, we're constantly getting pushed to this idea that we need a big house. We need a nice car. We need a good paying job. We need a lot of money. Right? We need all of these things. And we keep thinking that our life is bad because we don't have these things. And social media just exemplifies or amplifies the magnitude of this problem. We see other people with things and we think, oh, look how happy they are. If only I had that thing that they have, then we would be happy. Then I would be happy if I had those things. And then you get those things, you go, but I don't have this now. I need to have this to be happy. So we're in Matthew chapter 7, verse 13. The narrow gate. You can enter God's kingdom only through the narrow gate. The highway to hell is broad, and its gate is wide for the many who choose that way. But the gateway to life is very narrow, and the road is difficult, and only a few ever find it. Now, when I first heard that, I instantly just thought, oh man, yep, that's what it is, and the pastor brought up this sort of analogy with airplanes, right? Airplane security. Imagine going through security and you could just, take everything and you brought all the boxes from your garage, right? And you had like knives and scissors and gardening tools and even a chainsaw. All these alarms just start going off and everyone starts freaking out. Right? But oh no, trust me, it's okay. I'm a good person. Don't worry about those things. I'm a good person. No, don't worry. I won't do anything bad with those things. I'm a good person. I can take those things with me. Right? And we try and justify. Be like, oh, no, I'm a good person. It's okay. I can do these things. Right? And imagine if security went, oh, okay, sure. Imagine what would happen when we get on these planes. Imagine the amount of disasters that would occur if we just trusted everyone. If we just let people do what they want with their own free will, with their own choices. Imagine where that would bring this world. Let you ponder that for a minute. But I want to bring this back to entrepreneurship and pushing for more, because that's what really got me. And I think this is a message from God to me to say, Stefan, sometimes, all the time, more isn't better. Just pushing for more for the sake of more will leave you unfulfilled. And I've realized this. The first time I ever made $10,000 in a month, I thought my life would change. Yet for some reason, there was no difference in my life. I now had more money in my bank account. I could buy more things, but my life still felt the same. As a matter of fact, I felt a bit more empty inside. I always thought like, wow, if I could just make $10,000 in a month, my life would be different. And the next morning I wake up doing the same things, feeling the same way. And now it was, well, I don't have 20,000. Well, I don't have 30. I don't have 40. I don't have 50. And I kept trying to push for more and more and more, and I would make more, and I would still be unhappy. Oh, but maybe if I make $1 million in a month, I would be happy, right? It's funny Because a lot of us right now, in the current position we are at, are in the middle of what we used to pray for. I'll say it again. A lot of us, myself included, right now, are in the middle. We are currently present in something that we used to pray for. You might be in a spot that you used to pray about being 2 years ago, yet you're still unhappy. And so the question is, when will it end? When will it stop? When will you finally have enough? When will you be satisfied? And I think, as Tom Brady pointed out, and there's many other celebrities who have acknowledged this to some extent, that you could have everything in this world and still be empty, because that's not where fulfillment comes from. Fulfillment doesn't even come from happiness. It doesn't even come from happiness. It comes from Jesus Christ. It comes from having the Holy Spirit inside you. It comes from holiness. It comes from holiness. And that is what we should pursue. We shouldn't pursue happiness. We should pursue holiness. And that will make you fulfilled. That will make your life content. Not looking for more and more and more and more and more. Because you could have everything in this world and still feel empty. There's plenty and plenty of multi-millionaires, billionaires that have acknowledged this, that they have everything, yet they still don't feel, they feel like something is missing. A lot of athletes talk about this. They got given everything. They got the big paycheck. They were on the big stage, even big actors, yet they still felt like something was missing. And that's because there is. And a lot of us are longing for this feeling of purpose, for this feeling of sense of meaningfulness. And we try and find that out in the world. We try and find that out in material possessions, in other things, and we don't find it. That's because you only find it one place, and that's building a relationship with the Father, building a relationship with Jesus Christ. And that's something I've noticed and I've had to work on myself, is realizing that, the things in this life, the hoodies I wear, the hats I buy, the microphone I have, the glasses, it's all just temporary little dopamine hits now. True, real purpose and meaning and life comes from this. It comes from reading the Bible and building a true connection. Not just, reading the Bible, going to church, which is something I've been very, very guilty of. But building a connection. And that's something I'm working on, is trying to build a connection with Jesus, that he knows me. So that he knows me and I know him. And I think that is something that I really need to hear, and I think a lot of people need to hear as well, is that yes, working hard is great, and I encourage you to do so. Continue to work hard, right? Provide for your family and work hard, but don't get too caught up in all the external things this world makes you think you need. Right? Don't get too caught up on this wide road. The wide road that feels good now, that's easy. Right? The wide road's always going to be easier. It's always going to feel good now. But that road leads to death. It leads to separation from God. The narrow road, the road that is difficult, the road that not many people take, the road that may leave you uncertain at times, that is the road that leads you to life. That is the road that leads you to be with God. And that is the road that you should choose. That is the road that I should choose. That is the road that all of us should choose. And it will be difficult. It will be very, very difficult. But like all things in life, I think the things that are worth it the most are the things that are the most difficult. And going against societal norms, doing things that most people don't do or even understand is difficult to a huge extent. And I think that's why the reward is so great, to spend eternity with God. It doesn't get any better than that. And so I just wanted to share this, because that sermon today was eye-opening for me. And I hope that this could just even shed a bit of light to somebody else. If this just makes one person thinking, oh, wow, I would be so, so happy. But I just wanted to share my own experience. And